Hey, what's up, guys? Russo and Jordy, Backdoor Fantasy Sports. Sorry about the late drop for NFL today. Yeah, crazy schedule, but we've got 4 picks for you, and we'll try to get through this video quick so we can get it out to you before these lines move. We're going to be talking about Monday Night Football. And we already have our NBA plays out if you guys play NBA as well. But yeah, Buccaneers versus Chiefs. This should be a fun game, nice primetime window game. So we've got 4 plays that we're excited about. Before we break into all that, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, because we'll let you know when we're filming, so you know that a video is coming soon. And if you guys have any questions about plays, just hit us in the comments and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. Again, busy day today, so I know there's already some comments on the NBA videos that we need to get back to, but yeah, just drop us a comment and we'll try to help you figure out some picks if you'd like. And then as usual, we appreciate the likes, guys. Best way to support the channel, and you guys have been killing it, so thank you so much for liking the video. If you don't mind, like this one as well. So we're running a special right now for parlay play. You may have heard about it in the other videos, but right now we are giving you a combo with parlay play. So if you sign up for parlay play and you use code BACKDOOR, you will get 100% deposit match up to $100, a $5 promo play from parlay play, and you'll get a 30-day membership to our premium Discord. So if you want to take advantage of that, just make sure you use the promo code, because that's the only way it works. You have to make sure you put that code in there when you're making your first deposit. And once you do, email us at bdfantasysports@gmail.com. And we're just going to get your Discord username and your parlay play username. And it takes 24 hours for us to confirm the code was used with parlay play. But as soon as we get that confirmation, we will get you hooked up in our Discord for 30 days, all included. So if you haven't signed up for Underdog, they're also a partner of ours. And if you use code BACKDOOR, you'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash, plus a free pick to help you cash your first slip. There's a link in the description for all of our partners if you guys want to sign up through any of our links. Let's talk about these plays. I'm going fantasy score as usual. I've been taking that a lot. For football, I just love fantasy score personally, but I'm going Kade Auton and DeAndre Hopkins. Kade Auton, I'm getting at 13 fantasy score. I'm going to be taking that for more. And it's a little bit lower on Underdog since it's half-point PPR. But DeAndre Hopkins, 9.5 fantasy score. I love both of these plays. On Underdog, they are 10.35 fantasy score for Kade and 8.55 fantasy score for Hopkins. But parlay play and prize picks, my picks are the same. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, so I'm going to be going with Xavier Worthy for over 38.5 receiving yards. And then I'm taking Rachaad White for over 7.5 rush attempts. For parlay play, we are getting the same lines over here, except for Xavier Worthy. I'm taking his receptions at 2.5. You know, some of the lines that they have for him are just a little high in the receiving category. Like the lowest line they have for his receiving yards is 45.5. It's a 2.2x. It's just a little high for the extra couple yards on top of that 38.5. So I'm going with his receptions over 2.5. So a little bit less of a multiplier on that one. And then for Underdog, we're getting the same exact line. So 7.5 rush attempts and Rachaad, 38.5 receiving yards for Worthy there. So,
all right. Well, let's start breaking them down. I'm going to start with Kade Auton. I know everybody's all hyped about his receiving yards. If you prefer that, go for it. But I want the whole fantasy score because he's been getting heavily targeted in the end zone, and that will get us really close. If he scores a touchdown, he's definitely going to go over this. So yeah, the matchup is great. You know, 32nd in receptions allowed to tight ends. Receiving yards, also pretty juicy, 32nd. And then touchdowns, not too scary as well. 16th in touchdowns allowed to tight ends. We know he just came off that week. We took this last week. We were calling this out as soon as Mike Evans went down, as soon as Chris Godwin went down. We were talking about how excited we were to take advantage of this Kade Auton situation because he's really talented. Baker loves him. They have a great rapport already. They played together last year. And so you have all of these younger, newer to the team receivers that are coming in trying to fill pretty big shoes between Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So Kade Auton is just a great, talented, big target for Baker, and Baker loves going after him in the end zone. So I'm going to be all over this. He went for 2 touchdowns last week against Atlanta. And if we look at the receptions, since the receivers have been down, he went for 8 receptions and 9 receptions. So for parlay play and for prize picks, this is full point PPR. So every time he catches the ball, you get 1 point. So we would be at 8 and 9 points just off of the catches, regardless of the yards. So if we take a look at his yards and what he's been doing, on 8 catches, he goes for 100 yards. On 9, he goes for 81. So if you're taking the yards, those yards are set at what, like 39.5? Is that what Prize Picks is actually giving it to us at? Let's take a look here real quick. No, they're up at 56.5. Why is Outlier showing? Yeah, I don't think, you let me know if there's a platform where you can get it at 39.5. That's pretty solid. But Prize Picks, these are way up at 56.5. So let's just say he's averaging about 10 yards a catch. That's going to be 5 catches for him to get to that 56. I'm not saying that he won't do better than that, but I feel like you're going to be pretty close. If you just take the fantasy score, if he cashes his yards, you're probably cashing anyways. But if for some reason they're able to lock him up a little bit and then he gets into the end zone, we're cashing the fantasy score still. So all of his props look good. But yeah, you see the 56.5 is where they're setting the receiving yards line, and then they're setting his receptions at 5. So they're kind of like showing that they think that did those just go away? Yeah, they just took his receptions away. So I want a little bit of all of it. They're back. I want a little bit of all of it. Like the fantasy score gives us all of that. So at 13, you'd need him to do just a little bit more than the 5 receptions for 56. But if he goes for like 6 or 7 receptions, you're good without a touchdown. But we could cash this early, if he ends up getting in the end zone, which it's a great matchup, and they've been going to him in the end zone. So I'm going to be going with his fantasy score on all the platforms. Let's take a look at Daily Grind. They do not like his fantasy score. We talk about this all the time. The fantasy scores get a little bit tricky. The optimizer realizes it's at 13 on Prize Picks and it's in the 12s on all these other platforms. So they're not considering that a value. But I'm going with this. I feel way more comfortable personally with the fantasy score over all of his other props. So yeah, I'll be taking that. And then now I want to talk about DeAndre Hopkins. We know what Hopkins is capable of. I know that he's been off to, he hasn't been doing much in the last, really in 2024, but he's coming from the Titans. He goes and joins the Chiefs and has a really short window. I think he had like 4 days before that game. So he, ended up going for 29 yards. How many receptions did he get? 2 receptions. Didn't really get to play that many snaps. But then you get these comments from Andy Reid saying Hopkins was just like chomping at the bit on the sidelines, but we were trying to be patient because he doesn't know the playbook well yet. So Andy Reid was excited to see how much Hopkins was just like itching to get in the game. And now it's sounding like the narrative is they're planning to unleash him this week in particular. Andy Reid said you can expect to see like we've been patient with him. You can expect to see him a lot more involved this week. And all of the narrative with the press is that they're planning on, okay, we've had plenty of time with Hopkins. They want him to be a weapon. So that doesn't mean this is totally going to happen, but we know what Hopkins is capable of. We know what Patrick Mahomes is capable of. They're missing, they've got Worthy, but as far as filling in for that Rashee Rice type role, they're missing that. And Hopkins has a great matchup here. If we want to like introduce Hopkins to the Chiefs fans and say this is the guy we just went and got, this is the matchup to do it. 28th in receptions allowed to wide receivers, super soft matchup. 25th in receiving yards allowed, and then touchdowns, 16th in touchdowns allowed to wide receivers. So at just 9.5, I think that this is going to be a game where we see more of a Rashee Rice type usage with Hopkins, because he's one of the best contested catch wide receivers in the game still, even at his age. So I'm all over this. I think we're getting this cheap because we haven't seen him do it yet with the Chiefs. So I think we're getting ahead of this one. And I really love the narrative around it too, with Reid saying that he's going to be a lot more involved this week. If we take a look at the over/under for this game, let me just pull it up real quick. I still had it on NBA. 45.5 point over/under. Chiefs favored by 9.5. I think that this is going to be able to be a closer game than that, personally. People just keep doubting the Buccaneers, but I just believe in what Baker's doing. I believe in this team's chemistry, and they've been like an explosive offense all year. So I think it's going to be heavily Kade Auton, Rachaad White. All their running backs can get the job done. And I think that maybe we see a little bit of a step up with some of these wide receivers that are coming in, who are, have been playing behind Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, because they have the same situation. These guys need to get more acclimated to the starting minutes and everything. So I think this is going to be a fun game, but I'm really excited with this matchup for Hopkins. So those are my two that I'm going to be rolling with. If you guys want to check out this app Outlier, it's great for everything I talk about every video. Like, you just can dial into the details and make an informed decision before you lock this into your slips. So if you guys want to try this, just go through the link in the description of the video for Outlier, and they're going to let you try it out free for 7 days if you go through that link. And you can take advantage of basketball and football for a full week and see how you like this before you decide whether or not you want to keep rolling with it. All right, Jordy.
All right. Yeah, so to get me started into mine here, I've got Xavier Worthy for over 38.5 receiving yards. I feel good about this because I feel like Xavier Worthy is always going to be like their deep threat guy, and he could get this in one play. That's just the type of player he is. The fastest guy in the NFL, with the guy with the strongest arm in the NFL. So it always makes sense to me. They've only linked up on some big plays just a couple times, and they're still getting used to the system. But even with the target share situation, Xavier Worthy over the last 2 games has had 8 targets in each game. So I still feel good about his target share situation. I think he'll get the opportunities. A super soft matchup, 25th in receiving yards allowed to wide receivers, giving up 158 in value. So I think, Xavier Worthy can get this done in 2 catches, 3 catches, whatever it may be that he's getting. He's been getting about 3 receptions per game lately. So I think if anything, DeAndre Hopkins is just going to open up his game even more, because DeAndre Hopkins has always been that guy who's like a Keenan Allen. He's really good in the midfield, just getting the soft spot open and taking the easy catches. So that's just going to make it more dangerous and open Xavier Worthy up for better opportunities to go deep. So I do like him in this game to cover this 38.5 receiving yard line. I know he's only done it twice this year, but I really think he has a good opportunity in this game. They've had a pretty tough schedule when it comes to secondaries. So I mean, he's definitely not done great, but I think in this game he's really gonna open it up for them, and we've seen him in these primetime games be a factor. So I like him in this to go over the 38.5 receiving yard line. This is juiced to go over. He has a 0.5 rushing yard line that I kind of like as well. I think I could see him totally getting involved in a jet sweep, so I'll be throwing that in as like a total YOLO play. But the receiving yards are juiced to go over at 38.5. They're minus 121. Pretty much everyone who has him at 138 38.5 has him at a 129. So feeling good about him to go over that line. He's also got a rushing receiving yard line at 44.5. I just thought that was a little pricey at 44.5, but so just sticking with the receiving yard line there. But I can totally see him getting a jet sweep and taking it a couple yards. So I'm going to be throwing in both, but mainly the receiving yard. And then for my second play, I love this Rachaad White over his rush attempts. If you look at this in the grand scheme of things over the year, he's done this in 5 out of 7 games already. And he's done this in a lot of games where they were losing by a lot. So I'm not worried about them getting down by a whole bunch and not running the ball. I think Rachaad White and Bucky Irving's questionable with the toe. I'm pretty sure he'll play. I think this running back system they got is pretty solid, because they bring in a lot of these guys for a lot of touches. But I think Rachaad White still remains the number 1. So I like him to at least get 8 carries in this game. I think that's not a lot to ask for. 6 in rushing attempts allowed. I think that honestly just means that Kansas City, they're putting people in tough situations where they have to throw the ball more. But with the receiver situation, I think that Tampa Bay is going to do what they did last time. Without all these receivers, they're going to try to get the run game going, and they're not going to shy away from the passing game, obviously, but I think that they're going to get Rachaad White and all these guys going. Bucky Irving, I can't remember the other guy's name right now, but
Sean Tucker.
I wanted to say Trey Tucker, but I knew that wasn't right. Yeah, I mean, I think they'll get all these guys involved, but I think Rachaad White's still going to be getting the bulk of the work, like always. So I like him to go over this 7.5 line for his attempts. And if you look at this on Daily Grind, it is a minus 135 to go over and 53% chance. I love this. If you guys want a little bit of everything, if you like the pass catching and all of that comes involved with Rachaad White, and you like him to maybe score the ball, his fantasy score to me looks great at 10.5. If he scores the ball, this is dang near cash, and he's a guy who will catch the ball 4 or 5 times a game. So this is a full PPR scoring system. So if he gets 4 catches, that's 4 points. So a lot of value in his fantasy score to be had as well. I just like the rush attempts because crazier things have happened. If Tampa Bay go up in this game, they're going to run the ball and try to control the game. So, and I think they'll run the ball anyway, just to try to impose the run game to open up the passing game. So there's a lot of things I like, but the rush attempts stand out the most to me, and probably the fantasy score is second if you want the best of all worlds from Rachaad, because he is a great dynamic running back. So he can do the pass catching deal and all of that. And if you look at the receptions allowed to running backs, they're 10th. So a little bit of a soft spot there. Not great, but not horrible either. But going with the rushing attempts for me today. So that's going to cover my 2 plays. If you guys want to check out Daily Grind, you can see kind of how it works here. I was just showing you guys how you can, they'll show you, if you type in someone's name, they'll show you all their best plays. So Rachaad White's is the rush attempts. And I was actually looking at this one yesterday. And, we talk about the early value all the time, but this one was actually at 6.5. And that was an insane deal. So, it's bumped up to 7.5. I still love it, but you can see here, like if you take away the names, they'll just give you all the best plays right here in front of your face. You can see Rachaad White's rush attempts are right up here at the top now. They're actually updated. They're giving it a 53% chance to go over now and a minus 138. So hurry up and get that locked in for sure. I don't know, maybe there's some news about one of the running backs. I know Bucky Irving is questionable now, so we'll see. But yeah, I love Daily Grind. They're definitely like the cream of the crop when it comes to DFS like type stuff, and the optimizer is just too good, and it pays for itself. Really, it does. So if you want to cash more, this thing will definitely help you do that. There's a link in the description below. If you use code BACKDOOR at checkout, they'll give you 25% off your first purchase. So whether or not you lock it in for a year or a couple months at a time, whatever your first purchase is, they'll give you 25% off of that with code BACKDOOR. So it's a really good deal. Definitely take advantage of that. And if you guys want to check out Chalkboard, they're another DFS app like Prize Picks or Underdog. They just have a ton of alt lines, and they run like 6 specials a day depending on what sport it is. So they'll do like 6 for NFL, 6 for NBA, 6 for MLB when it's around. And they have a ton of alt lines, so a lot of fun to play over there. You can bet as low as $1 and make a bunch of YOLOs up to like 150x. I've seen some really crazy ones over there, so a lot of fun to play over there. Link in the description for that as well. Use code BACKDOOR at checkout, and they'll give you a deposit match up to $100 and give you a free play to help you cash your first slip. So that's going to cover it all for me.
All right. Well, if you guys want to come join our Discord, you can take advantage of that parlay play deal we're running right now. Just make sure you use code BACKDOOR. Or if you want to just jump in right away, the Discord, you just go through Patreon. There's a link in the description. It manages our subscriptions for our Discord. So once you sign up through Patreon, you go into the settings and then you go to connected apps in the menu bar, and then you just connect. It has an option for you to just connect right there. If you do, make sure you hop in the community chat and let us know that you're new, so we can show you around, get to know you a little bit, and make sure you understand how to use the Discord and get the most out of it over that, over your subscription. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. Enjoy this massive NBA slate and this awesome primetime football game. I guess you will not be hearing from us tonight because election day is tomorrow and there's no games on. But tomorrow night we'll be getting back into the late night video for the 12-game NBA slate on Wednesday. So have a great night, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.
Good luck, guys.